Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and with football season just on the horizon, we're about to have plenty to discuss. But for now, there isn't a ton going on in the sports world, but we still have some important topics to cover, so I'll get right to it. A major announcement was made surrounding combat sports. Since 2019, the UFC has had a broadcast deal with ESPN, meaning fights were broadcast on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and other ESPN networks. So, to watch one of the big name events or title fights, you'd have to subscribe to ESPN Plus and pay for the pay-per-view event. So for the subscription, it was roughly $13 a month and an extra $80 per event you wanted to watch. For example, if you wanted to watch just one major UFC fight per year, it would cost you roughly $235. Earlier this week, UFC broadcasting was forever changed. UFC, Paramount, and CBS came to a contract agreement for the next 7 years worth $7.7 billion. That means pay-per-view as we know it is over. Starting in 2026, all UFC events, including 13 numbered shows and 30 fight nights, will be included as part of a normal subscription with Paramount Plus. Select numbered events will also be simulcast on CBS. Instead of paying $12.99 per month and $79.99 per event to watch a fight, all you would need starting in 2026 is a Paramount Plus subscription, which is only roughly $7.99 a month. This is a huge moment for fans, but also for the UFC. Since it'll be exponentially easier and significantly cheaper to watch major events now, the sport as a whole will grow. For now, though, the current pay-per-view system remains in place. And this weekend is another major fight. Middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis looks to defend his place atop the division as he faces off with unbeaten Khamzat Chimaev in the UFC 319 main event. Du Plessis earned his second successful title defense earlier this year by defeating former champ Sean Strickland, which extended Du Plessis' record to 9-0 in the UFC and 23-2 overall. Chimaev, on the other hand, is currently 14-0 and is one of the fastest up-and-comers in the sport. The 31-year-old earned this first shot at a title belt last October after a shocking first-round submission for victory. This should be an incredibly competitive fight, and the main event will begin this Saturday at 7 p.m. The NFL preseason is still underway, and some players have made headlines. Cleveland Browns rookie fifth-round pick Shedeur Sanders made the most of his first debut. Sanders completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns and added 19 rushing yards. He was on the field for 45 plays, and the Browns defeated the Carolina Panthers 30-10 in their preseason opener. The first overall pick in this year's draft, Cam Ward, looks very comfortable in the Tennessee Titans offense already. Time will tell if the Titans will become a competitor this season, but with a promising quarterback under center, there is at least hope. The 38th overall pick, running back TreVeyon Henderson out of Ohio State, has already made waves for the New England Patriots. On the first play of their preseason game against the Washington Commanders on last Friday, Henderson returned the opening kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown. If there was ever a perfect way to cement yourself a spot on the roster, that's a pretty good way to do so. And lastly, this will be a major year for second-year quarterbacks. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Michael Penix Jr. are all facing a ton of pressure heading into their sophomore campaigns. While Nix and Daniels exceeded all expectations last season, all of these quarterbacks will be expected to elevate their level of play and lead their respective teams to the playoffs. College football begins in just a few weeks, and the first AP poll rankings were released earlier this week. Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia made up the top 5. Teams that had overachieved last season, like Arizona State, Illinois, SMU, Indiana, and Boise State, all found themselves back on the top 25 for now. While the preseason rankings don't necessarily have a whole lot of merit, it's still a good frame of reference to see who's supposed to be a top team heading into the new season. If you're a fan of a different sport, the Premier Lacrosse League playoffs begin next week. The bracket's set, and the top 6 teams will be competing for the championship trophy. The Maryland Whipsnakes, Philadelphia Water Dogs, California Redwoods, Carolina Chaos, New York Atlas, and Denver Outlaws. The Utah Archers won back-to-back titles in 2023 and 2024, but failed to make the playoffs this season. So, for the first time since 2022, a new champion will be crowned. The PLL playoffs will begin on the 23rd, so don't miss out on any of the lacrosse action. 2 of our local Southern California MLB teams made headlines this week. The Dodgers and Angels met up for the 3-game Freeway Series in Anaheim earlier this week, and things went slightly different than anticipated. As a reminder, the Dodgers are one of the top 5 teams in baseball right now and are coming off of a World Series title. The Angels, on the other hand, have not made the playoffs in over a decade and are grasping at just a sliver of hope of making the playoffs this year. So, on paper, the Dodgers, by all means, should have swept the Angels this week. Back in May, in fact, the Angels swept the Dodgers in 3 games in LA. Now the Dodgers made their way to Anaheim looking for revenge. In Game 1, the Angels coasted off of a 7-0 lead and held off the Dodgers for a 7-4 win. In Game 2, the game headed to extra innings. After a dramatic comeback, Joe Adell hit a single to left field, Taylor Ward scored, and the Angels defeated the Dodgers again 7-6. While the game-winning walk-off single was exciting, it wasn't even the highlight of the night. In the top of the 6th inning with runners on first and second, Shohei Ohtani hit a line drive up the middle. Shortstop Zach Neto caught a line drive, landed on second base, and turned to make the throw to first, securing a triple play. This athletic play became part of history, as it was just the 8th triple play in Angels history. There have been only 739 triple plays in Major League Baseball since 1876, an average of just 5 per season. While 739 sounds like a lot, there's about 2,400 games played per season excluding the playoffs. So 739 in the last 150 years is pretty rare. In the 3rd game of the Freeway Series on Wednesday night, Shohei Ohtani took the mound and pitched for the Dodgers for a season-high 4 innings. The Dodgers quickly went up 3-0 in the top of the 1st and were up 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th. That's when Logan O'Hoppe delivered a 2-run RBI single, and the Angels swept the season Freeway Series with a 6-5 victory. While the Angels may not make the playoffs this season, going 6-0 against your rivals has to feel pretty good. On July 3rd, the Los Angeles Dodgers held a 9-game lead in the National League West with their 12th division title in 13 years, all but wrapped up. Since then, they have won only 12 of 33 games and have fallen into 2nd place in their division behind the San Diego Padres. The Padres are on the opposite trajectory, winning their 5th straight game with an 11-1 win and a series sweep over the division rival San Francisco Giants earlier this week. Both the division and all of the MLB is going to come to an exciting conclusion, so don't miss out on the action for the next month or 2. With all that said, enjoy all of the preseason football, regular season baseball, lacrosse, soccer, UFC, and more that this weekend has to offer. Come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.